Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What is going on, IE Sports Radio fans? This is your direct feed for all that is sports. And if you're listening to me live right now, it's your boy, the SoCal Saint, on the premier wrestling podcast here on the interwebs, online, here on Spreaker, and the only one on IE Sports Radio Network. This is the IE Elite Wrestling Show, your direct feed for all that is professional wrestling. I am the SoCal Saint, coming to you live here today on Spreaker.com with an all-new episode. I do humbly apologize for the technical difficulty that I suffered last week. I promise you'll get your full show today, and hopefully it's an entertaining one. Thank you for joining me, guys. I do appreciate the love and support. And also, thank you for just being loyal fans to the IE Sports Radio Network. We appreciate you. Without you, we wouldn't do what we do. So, muchos gracias. Thank you. Or, you know, like the late great Eddie Guerrero would say, muchas gracias. Thank you. Orale. That's right. So, we got a lot to talk about. A lot of stuff going on in the world of professional wrestling. A lot of stuff going on here, so I just had to cut the music off there. I know that tune is dope. You know, because I do dope shit. So, I do apologize. But, we got a lot to talk about. The road to WrestleMania is continuing. We will get into that a little later with the card for Elimination Chamber this coming Saturday night. Live on Peacock from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Big matches leading up into the biggest shows of the year, since it's now separated into two nights. WrestleMania's night 1 and 2. And we got a lot of stuff heading into WrestleMania, but just some offbeat wrestling news here I just wanted to get into that's not necessarily just WWE related. But this is from an old article that I pulled up at the beginning of the month that I didn't get to share on one of my last couple episodes, but I wanted to just get into it a little bit. If anybody is a fan of the series Dark Side of the Ring, or I know they've made some off-branch episodes of different series, like the Dark Side of the 90s and the Dark Side of Football, I think is one of them. I know I've watched a few of those, of each of those, but the main one that got it all started was the Dark Side of the Ring, which was a series, a docu-series that airs on Vice if you subscribe to streaming services and don't have any sort of cable or satellite television that gets Vice. You can watch these episodes on Tubi and on Hulu. If you've never watched it, I suggest, if you're a fan of wrestling and you want to know some of the craziest stories and craziest controversies in the world of professional wrestling, watch this show if you haven't. It's it's a game changer as far as like for people who are not on the up and up and don't really know a lot of the backstories of a lot of these crazy stories or particular wrestlers from wrestling's past. You know what I mean? So this show has been on for 3 seasons. The 3rd season was its longest one. The last episode aired in October of 2021, so it's been a little bit of time. Since then, there was another show that aired, you could say, like, in its place, that was actually executive produced by 7 Buck Productions, which, of course, is the production company of the great one, the People's Champion, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, which was called Tales of the Territory. I haven't had a chance to... Tales of the Territories. I haven't had a chance to actually watch that one, but I've heard good things about it. I'll have to sit down and look up some episodes and actually start watching them, because I would love to watch that as well, because it's done in the similar style of the Dark Side of the Ring, the preceding series. But this show apparently is making a comeback, which a lot of people thought it wasn't going to be coming back. But apparently, according to this article that I found on 411mania.com, a new report has come out that a couple of new details of the upcoming 4th season of Dark Side of the Ring. 411 Mania and PW Insider reported that they have heard the following names listed as subjects for episodes for the new season: wrestling legends Abdullah the Butcher, Bam Bam Bigelow, and former ECW champion Mike Awesome. The site also notes that Mick Foley, Jim Cornette, Terry Funk, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan have all been interviewed for the season, which currently does not have a premiere date. Dark Side of the Ring concluded its most recent season in October of 2021, like I stated earlier. So that's something to look forward to. If you're a fan of the show, don't worry, guys. A 4th season is coming. We just don't know exactly when. They're probably still filming the episodes. I'm not even sure how long the episode count will be. I know the 3rd season was by far their longest. I can't remember what the episode count ended at. I think it was like 14 or 15, something like that. It was a lot longer than most. The 1st season was only like 5 or 6 episodes. The 2nd season was slightly longer, but I think by like 2 or 3 more episodes than the 1st. But then the 3rd season was very big. They touched a lot of stories. If you've never watched the show and you're interested in checking it out, these are some of the topics that they've talked about on the show. The suspicious circumstances surrounding the death of WCCW star Gino Hernandez. He was a big star here in the state of Texas, specifically with the Von Erichs of World Class Championship Wrestling. Right here in Denton and the DFW area, they were big names here, the Von Erich family. Gino Hernandez was an up-and-coming star, a heel. He had a great look. He had a great character. He was great in the ring. And there's very suspicious circumstances surrounding his untimely, very young death. So that's a really interesting episode of the show. Of course, if you've never heard the tragic story of the Von Erich family, that is one of the episodes of the 1st season as well. If you watch it, if you've never heard the tragic story of the Von Erich family, you owe yourself to watch it. It's very sad. I mean, it is very sad. So I would say get your tissues ready, because this one is a tearjerker. It can be, just because of the details. That family has been through so much. God bless them, and God keep them in their God keep them in the remaining members of the family in just eternal embrace. You know what I mean? Because there's a rumor that there's a curse on the family, because if that tells you anything, I could do a whole episode on the Von Erichs if I wanted to. That's just how crazy and sad of a story it is. But if you want to know more about the Von Erich family based on what I've told you today, I would say go check out that episode of Dark Side of the Ring about the Von Erich family. But there's also actually, just to go off on a small tangent, there is a current motion picture in the works right now that's being filmed that's going to be about the Von Erich family, coming from A24 Productions, which is also the production company that has, they've done a lot of big films. I can't think of them at the moment. I do apologize. But this movie is going to be called The Iron Claw, and it's going to be about the Von Erich family. I'm right here on the official IMDb page for the movie, following the story of the Von Erichs, a dynasty of wrestlers who made a great impact on the sport from the 1960s to the present day. And that is what the movie is going to be about, and the cast and crew has already been announced. A lot of big names announced for the movie. Harris Dickinson will be playing David Von Erich, who was known as the Yellow Rose of Texas. That was his nickname. Zac Efron, yes, you heard me right. Zac Efron, and if you haven't seen his transformation pictures for this movie, Google the Iron Claw, excuse me, Zac Efron, and you can see his body transformation, because he looks like he transformed himself into who he's playing, which is the eldest brother of the Von Erich family and the only surviving member of the Von Erich family. That would be Kevin Von Erich, of his brothers, anyway. There are other, the children of some of the stars that have passed away are still alive, but Kevin of the original Von Erich clan is the only surviving brother of the original Von Erich clan, WCCW. So Zac Efron's going to be playing him. Jeremy Allen White, if you don't recognize that name, he played Lip on the show Shameless, and he's currently on a show called The Bear, where he plays a chef. I haven't watched it, but I've heard rave reviews about that show. He is also in the movie as Kerry Von Erich, who's probably the most recognizable and most famous of the Von Erich brothers, because he actually had a stint in the WWE back in the late 80s as the Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich. And famously, a quick little tidbit about the Von Erich, especially of Kerry specifically, he at one point lost his foot, I can't remember which one, in a horrible motorcycle accident, had to be amputated, and he wrestled the remainder of his career before his untimely death with a prosthetic foot, and no one knew, like only certain people knew about his prosthetic foot, but he... Not, I mean, like, to the fans, like, this came out later about this prosthetic foot that he had. That was one of the first, like, stories about the Von Erichs that I heard as a kid growing up, learning about professional wrestling. And we got a lot of, I'm actually looking at the cast here. We got Aaron Dean Eisenberg. I don't know who this guy is, but he's going to be playing the Nature Boy. Woo! Ric Flair. That's crazy. And also, the current AEW World Heavyweight Champion, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, a.k.a. MJF. He's better than you, and he knows it. He's going to be in the film. I'm not exactly sure who he's playing, because it's not listed here who he's portraying, but he's on the cast list. Chavo Guerrero Jr., the nephew of the late great Eddie Guerrero, who I spoke of earlier. Chavo Guerrero Jr. will also be in the picture as the manager of the main manager of all the heels back in the WCCW days of the Sheik Ed Farhat. He will be playing that man. And another who I was just speaking about, Gino Hernandez, does have a role in the movie. He will be played by Ryan Nemeth, who is a current AEW wrestler and the younger brother of WWE superstar Dolph Ziggler. So that's crazy. So Ryan Nemeth and Maxwell Jacob Friedman, both from AEW, will be in this movie portraying wrestlers. So this looks like a promising film. They have not released a trailer yet. I know. I've only known just seeing pictures. So I mean, I really can't say what the movie's going to be about. So that's definitely something to look forward to. If you're a wrestling fan, this should be a hell of a movie. I mean, the Von Erich story is such a crazy, tragic story, but it's interesting. Sometimes there's beauty in tragedy, and the fact that Kevin Von Erich was able to pull himself up from such tragic means, he's now, he's still surviving. God bless him, and his sons are now carrying on the Von Erich legacy as they are wrestling for Major League Wrestling, MLW, as the tag team, the Von Erichs. So, it's like a Phoenix story, I mean, like from the ashes rise the new generation of Von Erichs. But just check it out for yourself. I know I went off on a bit of a tangent there, guys. But just check out the show from Vice, Dark Side of the Ring. If you've never seen it, you owe it to yourself. It'll give you a little bit of education in the world of professional wrestling. And here we go. Speaking of wrestling, excuse me. So we got an announcement coming straight from Impact Wrestling. Yes, I haven't really spoke about them too much here on the show since I restarted the show. But Impact Wrestling, formerly known as Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, TNA, they're still going strong. Somehow, Impact Wrestling is the fucking is a zombie that just won't die. They've come very close to death many times, this company, but they're still striving, still surviving, and they actually have it's a very underrated product. Impact Wrestling does have a lot of great wrestlers on their roster. They do put on some really entertaining shows. They just had one of their biggest crowds recently, not that long ago, for the last pay-per-view event that they put on. They're doing, they're chugging along, man. They're staying strong. They're focusing on. This is almost why I almost like watching Impact more than AEW, and I'll say this. They seem like they're staying, I don't want to say in their lane, but they're staying focused on what they're doing. And a lot of guys in AEW claim that's what AEW is doing, but there's just too many times where they take pot shots at WWE, and you just tell that they try to counter book their show to WWE most nights. Impact is doing their own thing, and that's what keeps it entertaining, because it's almost very self-contained product. But with WrestleMania weekend coming up real soon, in less than over about a month and a half from now, it was just announced from Impact that Impact Wrestling and New Japan Pro Wrestling will be doing a joint show called Multiverse United, Only the Strong Survive, on March 30th from the Globe Theater in Los Angeles, California. And two big matches have already been announced for this show, coming to you live the week of WrestleMania on March 30th from the Globe Theater in Los Angeles. It's going to be the Impact Wrestling World Champion Josh Alexander going one-on-one with the Time Splitter Kushida, and Will Ospreay goes one-on-one with Mike Bailey. That's going to be huge. Those two matches should be fantastic. Alexander and Kushida should be a technical masterpiece between these two guys. And Bailey and Ospreay are going to fucking... that's probably going to be the match of the night right there for this event. Ospreay and Bailey are going to have a high-flying classic in this match for certain. Those are the two matches that have already been announced for the jointed Impact New Japan show, coming to you live on March 30th from the Globe Theater in Los Angeles. This is awesome. This is exciting news. I'm very happy to hear that for Impact and for New Japan. That's great stuff. I'm really excited for them. That's going to be, I'm sure, a hell of a show. As far as it being broadcast anywhere, I'm not certain as of yet. I haven't heard anything yet. But as soon as I know, you guys will know as well. And now this is some big news. Speaking of New Japan, this is a good segue here. Speaking of New Japan Pro Wrestling, so I know a couple episodes back I talked about how Kota Ibushi and New Japan have parted ways. So Kota, a big star out in New Japan, former member of the Golden Lovers with Kenny Omega. He's a former IWGP Heavyweight Champion, a former IWGP Intercontinental Champion. I mean, Kota Ibushi has done it all, and he's done in New Japan. Another one of the biggest stars in the current generation of New Japan Pro Wrestling is apparently done with the company as well. And it just took place 3 days ago. Here we go. In a loser leaves Japan match, Hikuleo, I hope I'm saying that right, Hikuleo, the younger brother of the never openweight champion, Tama Tonga, defeated leader of the current iteration of Bullet Club, the Switchblade, Jay White. Yes, that means Jay White is no longer under contract with New Japan. There was rumors going around. I never got a chance to touch base on them in any of my previous shows, but I knew about around the time of the Royal Rumble that I heard of Jay White's contract was coming up with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and now it's probably he has got to be in the best position right now because he's got feelers from AEW and he's got feelers from WWE that are interested in signing this guy. This guy could write his own ticket because he is the most wanted free agent in professional wrestling right now. The former leader of Bullet Club. Can you imagine? WWE already has Finn Balor, formerly known as Prince Devitt, AJ Styles. They are two former members and two former leaders of the Bullet Club. Hell, Balor created Bullet Club. AJ was the second leader of Bullet Club after Balor left for WWE. And then you got AEW on the other side of the coin with Kenny Omega, probably one of the most famous members, if not the most famous member of Bullet Club. And he took over the reins of leadership from AJ Styles when AJ left for WWE. I just can't. Can you imagine if WWE's able to land Jay White? That's three leaders of Bullet Club under one roof, under one umbrella. But AEW, I mean, it's not like it's. Tony's got the money. If it's a money thing, I mean, really, they both have the money that they could offer him. It's just what would be the biggest opportunity for Jay White to take if he was going to leave. If he is, I mean, he for sure is leaving New Japan. But where does he go? I mean, he's already dipped his toe in AEW. He was a part of the Forbidden Door pay-per-view last year. He dipped his toe. He was representing New Japan on that show. He dipped his toe in AEW waters there. But he's never been in the WWE side of things. I mean, hell, he's an international star. One, WWE is a huge international product. Two, his exposure alone that he would get for himself. I mean, right there. I mean, AEW is still growing. They're still in their infancy, so to speak. I know they've been around for about 3 years now. Their infancy was in 2019. So we're about to hit the 4-year anniversary of AEW being a company, of their first show, their first big pay-per-view show around May of this year. They'll hit their 4 years. But do they have the exposure that WWE could present for Jay White? I don't know. I mean, they are in international markets, yes, but they don't have the global structure of a WWE. I mean, WWE is everywhere. Everywhere. I mean, like I said, Jay White is in a very interesting position. This is the position that MJF will be in next year. He's been talking about it since he got to AEW. The war of 2024. The bidding war of 2024, excuse me. Because his contract comes up with AEW in 2024, and you gotta know that Tony is going to try to keep him, but you gotta believe WWE is going to try and take him away. And now you got Jay White, who's coming from New Japan. Boom. Fresh eyes on the world in front of him. The world is his oyster at this point. So will we breathe with the Switchblade in AEW? Or are we going to say too sweet when he joins the WWE? Stay tuned, guys. Who knows? It would be huge. Huge, huge, huge for the Raw after Mania. Can you imagine if Jay White just shows up on the Raw after Mania? Those fucking fans, because it's always the marks that go to Mania, the ones that come from all over the world, go to WrestleMania. And they're the ones that fill up the arenas on the Raw after Mania and the SmackDown after Mania. Can you imagine the pop, the sheer noise in that arena the night after WrestleMania on Raw if Jay White shows up on Raw in a WWE ring? That would be fucking crazy. Crazy. I just can't even. I'm getting goosebumps already just thinking about it. Do I want him to go to WWE over AEW? Honestly, maybe. Because I feel like AEW's, not to say that WWE doesn't have an overinflated roster, but I feel that Tony Khan, when he gets new wrestlers, he's like a kid with new toys. You know, you play with it for a little while, and then you start getting a little sick of it, and then you start putting it down, and then you kind of just walk away from it. And you forget it's there. I feel like he's done that to a lot of guys he's signed from WWE. Keith Lee, where the hell's Keith Lee? That was such a big deal when he got signed by AEW, and he really hasn't done much. He won a tag team title with Swerve Strickland. Whoop-de-doo. Has he done much else? No. Swerve is in some fucking weird group with with Rick Ross. I don't know. It's some ridiculous stable they've put him in. It's, I don't know. And you know, it's like, I don't know what Tony's doing. Like, the guys he gets, you know, it's like he has his favorites. It's obvious. He's using Jericho all the fucking time. I feel like it's annoying now. Like, he overuses Chris Jericho, Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley, sorry. Jon Moxley has been the backbone of AEW because he had to be whenever the fucking brawl out happened between Punk and the Young Bucks and Kenny. So you got, Moxley had to be there to just keep the company afloat. And you got Bryan Danielson there, still great in the ring, but he knows that his time is coming up soon, that he's going to want to hang up the boots and just go home and be a dad and not worry about this anymore. Like, but Bryan, I mean, he really hasn't done anything of significance. So, I don't know. I mean, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm sure to AEW fans, I'm extremely wrong, but, you know, sorry. That's my opinion. You know, I know it's hard for some guys to hear that, but it is what it is, guys. But, yeah, so it's going to be really interesting over the next couple of weeks what happens with this, the potential story of who could sign the Switchblade Jay White. Speaking of New Japan, we do have another match, another event coming up. This is actually going to be happening the same night as Elimination Chamber. Elimination Chamber is coming to you live. I think it's the same night. Let me check my dates here, because I could be wrong here. Let me check my dates here. I'm showing it on the 18th. Yes, the 18th is Saturday. So this Saturday is the Elimination Chamber for WWE. But also this Saturday in San Jose, California is the Battle in the Valley event from New Japan Pro Wrestling. It was just announced 2 days ago after the story with Jay White, who Jay White is actually going to be making. This potentially could be Jay White's final appearance for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Will be this Saturday night in San Jose, California at the event Battle in the Valley. Jay White will be going one-on-one with AEW's Eddie Kingston. And just announced, Hiroshi Tanahashi, the ace of New Japan, legend, versus another legend for the IWGP World Heavyweight title, the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada. Okada and Tanahashi are going to main event a New Japan show here in the States. Fucking nuts. That's crazy. That's going to be an awesome match. Tanahashi and Okada for the IWGP World Heavyweight title. This is also the event that will showcase the very first New Japan Pro Wrestling match of the formerly known as Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, challenging Kairi, formerly known as Kairi Sane in WWE, for the IWGP Women's World Title. So you got 3 matches that have already been announced for this event that's coming to you live this Saturday. Battle in the Valley. If you're not going to be in San Jose, you can go to FITE, that's FITE, and order the event. They will be streaming the event live in English. Or if you already subscribed to New Japan World, NJPW World, it will be shown on there live. But I think that'll be the Japanese commentary, as far as I know, unless there's a way to switch between English and Japanese. I don't know. I don't subscribe to NJPW World, so I wouldn't know. But those are your options to be able to watch the event this Saturday, is either go order the event on FITE, or if you're already a subscriber, if not, subscribe to NJPW World and watch the event that way. Well, let's take a quick break, guys. I feel like I've just been going on and on about this wrestling news, but that was a little bit of wrestling news that was outside of WWE, so to speak. We'll take a quick little break here, and when we come back, we're gonna start getting into some WWE related news. We're gonna talk about the next gig for The Undertaker. Interesting, especially for fans who want to see The Undertaker live. You're gonna want to hear this. Some NXT news about a new trainer that is now a part of the team down there at the Performance Center. And then we're going to talk about the upcoming card for Elimination Chamber. Don't go away. Your boy, the SoCal Saint, will be right back.
The Spanish Top Flight is here on Wellington Sports Radio. From past champions like Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, to current champions Real Madrid, and every team in between trying to fight for Champions League glory and trying to fight against relegation. It's La Liga, right here on Wellington Sports Radio.
Hello everyone, my name is Daryl Kinsey Jr. and I'm welcoming you to take another lap with the fastest show on IE Sports Radio. Yes, this is the Extra Mile with me and my co-hosts Christopher Lehman and Michael Ward. We talk everything racing from NASCAR to IndyCar to Formula One to limited hydroplanes, endurance racing, the NHRA, and more. So come join us for an hour of great racing talk and a lot of fun as well on the Extra Mile, Thursdays at 8 p.m. only on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is the IE Elite Wrestling Show with your boy, the SoCal Saint. It's your direct feed for all that is professional wrestling on the network. That is your direct feed for all that is sports. That is IE Sports Radio. Welcome back, guys. Yes, we actually talked a lot about some stuff that's outside of WWE. The joint show that's going to be coming to you live WrestleMania weekend on March 30th at the Globe Theater in Los Angeles between Impact Wrestling and New Japan. I talked about Jay White, former IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, no longer the leader of Bullet Club. Switchblade Jay White is now a free agent. Will be making I believe is his final appearance for New Japan this Saturday at Battle in the Valley against Eddie Kingston. And if you want to watch that show again live, you can watch it on NJPW World if you subscribe. If you don't subscribe to NJPW World, or order the event itself on Fight. That's FITE, Fight app. You could stream it that way. I'm not sure what the price is. I heard somewhere it was like $20, maybe $30. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. So if you end up paying more, they'll be like, hey man, the SoCal Saints said it was only $20. I don't control that. I don't work for Fight, so sorry. You took me at my word. That's your fault. Anyway, that's very heelish of me. But anyway, right before we took that little break and heard from some of our members of the IE Sports Radio family, I spoke about if you're interested in seeing The Undertaker. I have this here that it was announced The Undertaker is set to become a Las Vegas Strip attraction. Yes, apparently The Undertaker, a.k.a. real name Mark Calloway, will host a special one-night-only engagement of his One Dead Man show at the Chelsea inside the Cosmopolitan on Friday, March 24th, the week before WrestleMania. The show will be reportedly featuring the icon in an intimate setting, sharing never-before-heard stories from his Hall of Fame career and taking questions from the WWE Universe guests in attendance. The Cosmopolitan advises that the One Dead Man show will follow a cell phone-free policy and will utilize phone-locked devices for those in attendance. And so, if you want to see The Undertaker, if you're going to be in the Las Vegas area on Friday, March 24th, get your ticket at the Cosmopolitan at the Chelsea to see the One Dead Man show for the one-man show of The Undertaker. Yes. Just wanted to send that out there. And here, just to get more into some WWE news here, it was announced by NXT head trainer Matt Bloom, a.k.a. formerly known as Lord Tensai, A-Train, Albert. He's been known by many names. Was discussing this during an interview with Dirt Sheet Radio that the formerly known as Oni Lorcan, former one-time NXT Tag Team Champion with Danny Burch, known on the indies as Biff Busick, has officially retired from professional wrestling, and he is now the newest trainer at the WWE Performance Center. And this is a quote from Matt Bloom. My position as a head coach, I oversee my coaches. I have an amazing staff, so I got to give a lot of props to those guys. Terry Taylor, Fit Finley, Robbie Brookside, Norman Smiley, Steve Carino, Alexander Winkler, Oni Lorcan, Chris Gerard, who just recently retired from being an in-ring performer, Johnny Moss, and we have a few United Kingdom coaches that are on the cusp of being full-time coaches as well. So there you go, guys. Officially right there, the formerly known as Oni Lorcan, which is probably one of the worst wrestling names ever in the history of wrestling. I'm sure there's worse ones, but that's definitely got to be up there. Oni Lorcan no longer an active competitor. He's now going to be training the next generation of active competitors, the next generation of WWE stars at the Performance Center alongside huge legends like Norman Smiley, Fit Finley, Robbie Brookside, Matt Bloom, Terry Taylor. That's a lot of Steve Carino. I mean, those are a lot of wrestling knowledge right there. These WWE coaches know what they're doing. They know how to train the next batch of stars. They're all in good hands. Well, to get into it, last night was Monday Night Raw. We furthered along some storylines. If you haven't seen it, go on YouTube and search Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn promo. It was just magnifique. It was awesome. Pure wrestling awesomeness. This is what I want. I told you guys, last week's Raw was fucking awesome. This is what I want on the road to WrestleMania. Awesome Raw after awesome Raw after awesome Raw. And that is what Triple H is giving us. Yes! Sorry, I do seem a little excited, but it was great. Great show overall. Were there a few bumps in the road? Possibly. But for the most part, it was entertaining, and that's what we want. Entertainment. Yes. And last night, the promo exchange between Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn is exactly what needed to be done. Cody acknowledging Sami, Sami acknowledging Cody. These two guys are the most over baby faces that they have on the roster currently right now. The pop that Sami got, the equally as high pop that Cody Rhodes got, shows you that WWE is right to put these two guys in this situation right now. And things are looking bright on the road to WrestleMania, but we got to make a pit stop. We got to make a pit stop on the road to WrestleMania because this Saturday night, Saturday, February 18th, live from the Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, will be Elimination Chamber. It's the 13th Elimination Chamber pay-per-view since this became a gimmicky, not just a gimmick match, but a gimmick pay-per-view. And this is the final stop, if I'm not mistaken, on the road to WrestleMania. There will not be another pay-per-view until WrestleMania's nights 1 and 2. So this is the final stop on the road to WrestleMania. And these matches have already been confirmed after the volatile contract signing. It is now official. The rubber match is set. They are 1-1 apiece. The almighty Bobby Lashley goes 1-on-1 with the beast incarnate Brock Lesnar. It's the third time these two men have stepped into the ring against one another. First time around, Bobby was able to get the win and the WWE title out of it. The second time around, Brock was able to win, but Brock did not leave on his own. Bobby took him out. And now, this is the rubber match. Who is going to be, it's like the immovable object versus the unstoppable force. Who is going to give first? It's just going to be 300, it's going to be over 300 pounds of just man meat slamming into each other. That sounded suggestive. I didn't mean for it to sound that way, but that's how it sounded. Anyway, whatever. Oh, man. This is going to be a hard-hitting match. These two men are going to be just slamming into each other, clotheslining each other. It's just going to be a hard-hitting match. These two men who have come from the world of mixed martial arts from their time in WWE, and now they're back again. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if... I feel like this match should have been given like some sort of like MMA gimmick, so to speak, or something to just cap it off, but it's alright, because these two guys are going to knock the hell out of each other. It's going to be a good one. Lashley and Brock Lesnar having a great feud, which is going to lead, I wonder where, on the road to WrestleMania. I wonder after this match, I really can't say who's going to win, because I don't know what's in the cards for these two guys at WrestleMania. Like, who is going to face who? Are they going to branch off into different feuds from here? Or are they going to go one more round at Mania? Who knows? What if this ends up being an undecisive decision? What if these guys beat the hell out of each other to the point that neither one of them can continue, and we don't get a definitive winner? Who knows? I don't know how WWE is going to book this, but tune in this Saturday. If you're not already subscribing, I say this every episode. $5.99. Peacock. The Peacock app. It's only $5.99 here in the States. Just subscribe, and you can get all the WWE Premium Live events included. Because the WWE library is a part of Peacock. It's cheaper than what the WWE Network used to cost. The WWE Network was $10 a month. Now you're saving $5 or whatever. $4, whatever. You're still saving money. Next match on the card, the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and the 2023 Women's Royal Rumble winner, Rhea Ripley, along with Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio, will take on Beth Phoenix and her husband, Edge. Yes, the Hall of Fame rated R couple of Edge and Beth Phoenix challenging Balor and Ripley to a 2-on-2 mixed tag team match at Elimination Chamber. We will have a wider scope for the outcome of WrestleMania, for at least on the women's title side of things on Raw, because it's already set in stone for WrestleMania. For the SmackDown Women's title, Rhea Ripley will be challenging Charlotte Flair. For the Raw side, not so much. Bianca Belair is still without an opponent for WrestleMania, but as of this weekend, she will know who she is facing at WrestleMania. When in the Women's Elimination Chamber match, the winner receives a Raw Women's title match at WrestleMania. It'll be Asuka versus Liv Morgan versus Nikki Cross versus Raquel Rodriguez versus Natalya versus Carmella. It would have been 2 more people involved in this match had Becky Lynch and Bayley been able to defeat Bianca Belair last night in the main event of Raw, but they were both unsuccessful when Becky Lynch hit the man slam on Bayley, but then proceeded to get KO'd by Bianca Belair on top of Bayley, and that's when Bianca pinned Bayley 1, 2, 3, keeping Bayley and Becky out of the match, and keeping it as is Asuka, Morgan, Cross, Rodriguez, Natalya, Carmella. Winner goes on to WrestleMania to face Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's title. And in the men's Elimination Chamber match, it's going to be for the WWE United States Championship. Austin Theory defends the United States title against Montez Ford of the Street Profits, Damian Priest of Judgment Day, Bronson Reed, Johnny Gargano, Seth freaking Rollins. That's right, guys. This is going to be a big match. Who is going to walk into WrestleMania the United States champion? It's going to be a big match. I'm really excited for this one. I really can't say who I would want to win this match. I really feel like the elimination of Seth Rollins by Logan Paul at Rumble is setting up for the one-on-one match between Rollins and Paul at WrestleMania. So I don't expect Rollins to win this match. I really feel like Theory is somehow going to pull it out, and Theory is going to go to Mania and face John Cena for the United States title, because that's the match that that Vince wanted to plan for. I feel like Triple H is heading that in that same direction. Theory's been dropping little Easter eggs week in and week out for the last couple of weeks here, taking shots at Cena without basically calling out Cena, but I feel like that's where they're going. It's going to end up being Theory and Cena. That's definitely one of the top rumored matches for WrestleMania this year. And this one, the creme de la creme, the main event of Elimination Chamber match. Who is going to WrestleMania? Who is facing Cody Rhodes? Who is going to be standing on the other side of the ring from the American Nightmare on the Show of Shows for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship? Sami Zayn, who is on the hottest streak he has ever been on, the hottest angle that WWE has done in years. This is all coming to fruition. This is all coming to a culmination this Saturday night in Montreal, in Sami's hometown of Montreal. Sami Zayn challenging the tribal chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns. Roman has been unstoppable. Everybody has been put in front of him. He's knocked them down. But he's never gone one-on-one with Sami Zayn. This Sami Zayn, this version of Sami Zayn. Is there a possibility that Sami Zayn can pin Roman and win the title in his home? I don't know. I don't see it happening. But man, can you imagine that ovation if he is able to beat Roman? We shall see. We will all see this Saturday, February 18th, from the Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, WWE Elimination Chamber. Oh, man, I am excited. This is the final stop on the road to WrestleMania, and we got a lot to look forward to, guys. WrestleMania, it's on the horizon. And we are right there. We are at that last stop. We're on the home stretch. We're getting close, guys. We're getting close. That about wraps us up today, guys. I know I went on a lot about some other stuff that was outside of WWE, but this is a wrestling show. I'm going to talk about wrestling, not just WWE, when I can and when I have the means to do so. So, if you like that, awesome. I'm glad you guys were a part of that. But Thank you guys for tuning in live for the newest episode of the IE Elite Wrestling Show. This has been my pleasure. I am the SoCal Saint, your boy. Follow me on the Twitter at SoCal Saint. Also, check out IESportsRadio.com and follow my page on there, the IE Elite Wrestling Show. Check it out. Follow us on Spreaker if you're not already. Follow us on Twitter as well, at IE Sports Radio. And check out all the other shows we have, guys. We have some great shows on the network. Thank you for tuning in. This has been the IE Elite Wrestling Show, your direct feed for all that is sports. Excuse me, I got that mixed up. This is your direct feed for all that is professional wrestling on the network that is your direct feed for all that is sports, IE Sports Radio. I'll check you guys next week. Peace.